Hey there everyone, it's Trish from Dish Kitty Studio, and I am back with a flip of my daily journal. I have a lot of pages to go through, so I'm just going to get right into it, but this is where I left off last time. This is my new book. Still have not done anything with the cover, still completely plain. This was a pretty boring standard day. It was a Wednesday. And I drew an egg because I made myself a fried egg for my lunch. I don't usually do that. I don't know why, because I love eggs. But on this particular day, I decided it sounded really good, so I had an egg with toast, and it was delicious. So I just did a little watercolor egg there. I actually finished my 18th book this day. So this was the day that I filmed my last flip. I finally got all of the pages scanned and everything done, so I just drew a little picture of the pink binder here and I wrote 18 on it. I also drew a little bomb here because this was the day that we bombed Syria, so I wrote that in here because I wanted to remember it. This was a Friday. This was the day, I think I told you guys in my last video that a girlfriend of mine was opening up it's kind of a vintage boutique, vintage clothing and home goods and stuff like that. And she offered to sell some of my prints in her shop. So this was her opening night, and my husband and I went. This is a little card. The store's called Kaiser Thrift. So we bought this really cool like 70s popcorn bowl. It's like a clear glass bowl and it says popcorn on it. It's a real like vintagey, cool retro font. And I stuck the little tag from the bowl of popcorn in here. She actually sold 4 of my prints that first night. I was so excited. Here's a picture of me shocked with the number 4 because I couldn't believe it. I was very excited. I decided that I obviously am giving her part of the profits because, you know, she's really, you know, taking all the money and doing all the work, and if it's credit card, she has processing fees, and I'm taking up space in her store and all that. So she gets a portion, and my portion I decided to donate to a local, we have a local art museum that also does art classes, and they have a scholarship fund that's for kids and adults to take art classes. So all they have to do is go in and apply, and if they meet the criteria, then the scholarship fund may pay for part or all of their class. So I'm going to donate all of my portion of the sales of these prints to that scholarship fund. So I'm pretty excited about it. So for right now, it's not too much, only a few bucks, but hopefully it'll be something. I mean, every little bit helps, right? So I'm pretty excited about it. This was a Saturday. I wrote Trish Day because this was the day that, you know, about once a month my husband leaves and he's gone for the whole Saturday recording his podcast with his partners in crime. So I call that Trish Day because I usually just sort of, I do all the stuff I want to do, and I make, like I make something for dinner that I like that he doesn't like, and I watch what I want to watch on TV, and I do all the stuff I want to do and all that kind of thing. So this particular day I had breakfast with my mom, spent some time at her place helping her out with a few things, and then I came home and I made macaroni and cheese, yay, and I watched Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. So that was my big Trish Day. Very exciting. Nothing much going on here. Why did I draw bread? Oh, because we were watching the British baking show again. So I tried to draw a fancy loaf of bread. Not my best work, but I am also doing, I think I talked about it last time too. I'm in it, or is this the first time we did it? Nope, this was the second time. So we've been doing this for a few weeks now. TV Club. So we all get together and watch TV shows together on Sunday evenings, and then we chat about, we have like a little chat room where we all kind of converse with each other and talk about the episode. So I had TV Club that night. It's really fun. I'm enjoying it. There's probably maybe like 8 or 10 of us total, something like that. And it's fun. It's been really good. We're watching Freaks and Geeks, which, if you haven't seen it, it's on Netflix. It's only one season, 18 episodes, I think, and it's really good. I've seen it before, and I love it, and it's really fun to watch it with other people that are watching it and enjoying it as well. As you can see here, it's just a picture of me looking bored, and it says boring day. Nothing much happened. I just wrote a few. I decided to leave a lot of blank space because it was so boring. I just wrote work, leftovers for dinner, which is like the most boring of all meals, right? British baking show, duh. Grumpy, Bleck. So pretty much just a pretty boring day. Here is a picture of me with a bunch of branches and sticks because my husband had to work late that night and our yard was just a mess. We had a couple of bad storms and we just had, you know, we have a lot of trees, so we just had branches and sticks laying around everywhere. So while he worked late, I went out and picked up all the sticks and at least just put them into piles. And then when he got home, he came and grabbed all the sticks that were in the piles and put them in the big brush pile that we have. So there's me with my sticks. I got a haircut. And then this is just a phone. I made a ton of phone calls, more insurance stuff, more, you know, medical bills, more of all that garbage. So here's just me, just more phone calls and more waiting on hold. Gosh, you guys know what that stuff's like. It's a pain in the butt. And then just some scissors and hair. I made roasted asparagus for dinner. One of my favorite vegetables. I love asparagus, and roasted is by far my favorite. And then I drew a picture of a roof because we had a guy come out today and look at our roof. We've been having some issues with water inside the attic and we weren't sure what was going on. The guy came in the winter, but you know, he could only, you know, it's wintertime, so he could only really look from inside the attic and he couldn't get up on the roof. The roof was covered with snow. So he was like, you know, I think you're fine for now, but, you know, we'll have to come back in the spring and try to really assess where the problem is. So he came back. He's still not really sure, but it was a kind of a good news, bad news sort of situation. He thinks that we're fine as far as the water in the attic. He's not sure what caused it, but it seemed to be kind of a one-time thing. But he did get on a ladder and look at the roof, and there's some other problems. Like we've got some actual damage to the shingles themselves, and he thinks it's actually a manufacturing issue from like the company that manufactured the shingles. So he put in a warranty claim, and if it gets approved, which will take months and months and months, if it's approved, then the company that manufactured the shingles will pay for us to have our roof completely ripped off and a brand new roof put on with new, better shingles that won't have the problems that these have. But in the meantime, we're kind of stuck because if there are ventilation issues under the roof, anyway, it's all a very long, boring story. So our roof has some issues. That's enough said there. Another pretty boring day here. This was Good Friday. I actually baked some brownies. So here's a picture of me chomping on the delicious brownies. And my husband and I went out and got Chinese food. We ran some errands and stuff like that. I also put the girl, I hate to even say girl that cleans my house because she's actually a very good friend of mine. I've known her since I was a kid. She left me this really funny note. She was still here when we left to go out for dinner that night. So she left me this note, and it says, it was on my vacuum cleaner. It says, "Will bring mine from now on. Vacuum is near junk, and it's too heavy to take upstairs." I don't know. I guess you have to know her, but I just found it really funny. I have another vacuum, and I called her later that night and told her not to bring her own vacuum because I do have another vacuum. So I told her I'd get it out for her, but I thought it was kind of funny. So that was it. Nothing much there. Now, the night before, my husband he said his eyes were hurting. And we kind of thought, you know, we're getting into spring here, so we thought it was kind of like a sinus pressure thing. You know, he said he felt like there was pressure behind his eyes. So I thought he just had, you know, sinus drainage or something that was causing that kind of pressure. But when he woke up on Saturday morning, we realized pretty quickly that it was something much more serious than that. Both of his eyes were bright red. Any amount of light was actually painful. Like he said, just, having just the sunlight was causing sharp pain in both of his eyes. So he called his ophthalmologist. Now this was a Saturday morning too, keep in mind. He called his ophthalmologist's, like after hours line, and the doctor called him back probably about an hour or so later, and he kind of explained to him what was going on, and he said he actually agreed to see my husband on a Saturday morning, especially on Easter weekend, no less. So I was very, very, very grateful for that. So we went, my husband managed to drive because, of course, I can't drive. So he had to put on, like, some really big sunglasses to be able to get, because, of course, it was a beautiful sunny day. But thankfully, the doctor's office is very close, too. So we got in there, and the doctor looked at his eyes, dilated them with, like, some kind of, like, super dilation that will last for days. At least days, even up to a week, he said. And it turns out he's got something called iritis, which is an inflammation in the iris. They don't really know what causes it, but it is very painful. He gave him some steroid drops that he had to take every hour for the whole day, and then switch it to 2 hours every 2 hours the next day. So it was pretty intense. So I have this cute little pocket here that I got this from some really good friends. I got a packet of these cute little pockets for my birthday. This is just a little pair of, they give you the little sunglasses. They gave him those at the eye doctor, and then I just put the business card for the eye doctor in here. And then, of course, here's a picture of my poor hubby with... He has an eye patch here because he's actually had iritis before, but it's been a couple of years ago, and he had a patch that he wore at the time, so he got that out and was wearing it around the house in the morning before we went to the doctor. We canceled all of our weekend plans because it was really difficult for him to be outside, especially on Saturday. On Sunday was Easter. We were supposed to go, we were supposed to have lunch with my family on Saturday and then spend Sunday with his family. But we didn't end up being able to do either. So we just kind of stayed home and hung around the house and laid low. And he was taking these drops every hour, and then on Sunday every 2 hours. And he was trying to do kind of like cold compresses on his eyes because it was kind of soothing and made him feel a little better. So we basically just stayed home and hung around. I took the opportunity on Sunday. I found, my husband was going through some of his stuff earlier in the week and found an old drawing book of his. I don't know if you guys remember the show. I think it was called Secret City or something, or like Imagination Station. It was like a kid's drawing show from the 80s, and this guy... Commander Mark was like, he would draw these space stations and stuff like that. Well, my husband found his drawing book. It's called Draw Squad in his, he was going through the attic because of the roof guys that were coming. And he was like, hey, I found this book. I thought you might like it. So I was, I took the time on Sunday to sort of page through it, and I went through some of the lessons. It's really all about drawing things in perspective and shading and things like that. So I spent some time practicing doing some of the lessons from the book on Sunday because we really didn't we didn't have too much else going on. By Monday, he was feeling better. His eye was better. His eyes were better, and he was able to actually drive himself to work. He goes to work very early in the morning, so it was dark when he got there, and he kept up the drops all day. And he managed fine. He's been going to work all week, and in fact, today he told me, today is Wednesday, he told me that it was much better. He's still doing the drops now. He's up. Hey, sorry about that, guys. Apparently, I ran out of space on the memory card in my camera, so it just shut me up. Anyway, so he's still doing the drops. He's still doing them now, in fact, but now he is doing them every 4 hours. And he's doing much better. But anyway, back to Monday. On Mondays I did, I work from home anyway, but I do consulting work in the evenings on Monday nights. So my husband loves sun tea, and it was a beautiful sunny day. So after I finished my work, I made him a jar of tea and I put it outside on the patio. And then I left him this note. So this little piece of paper I left on the counter because I was downstairs in my office when he got home from work. So I left him this note so he'd know that there was tea outside waiting for him. And that was basically it, Like I said, I do my work on Monday nights, so it was work for me. And that's it. I got a sticky note there, and that was yesterday, and today's Wednesday. We're all caught up. So that's all I've got for now. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and that's it. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great day. I'll be back soon.